I mean,
It's cold. Good morning.
It could be
Set
snow
things
and
up.
ice on the ground, clouds, but here,
Feels pretty good here.
yeah,
I feel like-
I'm glad I'm no longer in Michigan.
Yeah. I meant to bring my little thing and I totally forgot it.
Oh,
I thought about it and then I was like, oh, I need to brush my teeth. And then I went to brush my
gotcha.
teeth and then I forgot
I
the.
gotcha.
Yeah. So it's funny how that works. So I'll just leave this here and say good morning to everybody that joins us online. Please comment, add your 2 cents so I can add your 2 cents here. It looks like it's a bunch of empty chairs, but we are humaning here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Welcome to the now. Welcome to this now. It's a new one. It's a brand new now. So, hey, good morning. So how are y'all doing? How's everybody feeling in their body today? Well, good morning, stranger. I feel like we just entered a time loop. Everybody's back. Like, what other blasts from the past are going to come in? Good morning. Welcome. Hey, good morning. Welcome.
Oh, Guns N' Roses, I love that.
Thanks. It's such an old shirt. I've had this.
I used to
Since
be in
the
love
late
with
90s.
Axl Rose.
Yeah, me too. Oh, yeah. So it's good to see everybody. I'll let Rodney come back and then I'll show this. I love these doors. Okay.
Need help?
No, I'm gonna. Ronnie will be coming back through. Can you hear me okay? Because I have a microphone. Totally forgot to set it up. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I got it. Whee! Awesome. Well, let's just hold space for anyone else that may be joining. So we'll just hold that energetic space. Okay, cool. Thank you. And I'm going to move this here a little bit so I can see everybody better. There we go. It was moving around. Yeah. So I'm going to do a little check-in with everybody. I want to check in and see how everybody's body is feeling today.
Mine's been tense. I haven't slept all night. I have like arthritis. So I'm tense.
So we got a tense body.
Yeah.
How are the other bodies in this space feeling?
It's okay.
Body's feeling okay?
Tired.
Tired body?
I'm very low on energy and my balance is poor.
Low energy and off balance? Any other bodies want to share how their bodies are feeling?
I'll share.
Yeah.
My body is feeling a little tired.
Tired body?
Yes, a lot of different medical tests and doctor's appointments. I'm tired of it. My body's tired of it.
I bet.
And
I
the
can-
meds in my
I can
system is
relate
what's
to
doing it
that.
for me. So
Say it
And
again.
Alan,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
no, I just said like the meds in my system is what makes me feel that way as well. Like it makes me extremely tired.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I normally feel kind of tired because I have
Thank
these
Drained
dreams that are
body.
very vivid. So like I sleep, but I wake up tired. But last night wasn't so bad.
Gotcha. I started something different last night before I went to bed, and it made a difference in how I slept. So I'm curious, do y'all look at your screens before you go to bed?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
So right before you go to bed, like the hour before you go to bed, are you looking at a TV or your phone? Yes?
What was
Sometimes.
that question?
Sometimes.
If at about the hour before you go to bed,
Yeah.
are you looking at your television or your phone?
The screen on your TV or your phone.
Well, no, not necessarily.
Okay. So most of us do, right? I mean, it's like I'll try to stay off of it, but then I want to check it one last time.
On the phone, yeah, I keep it close to me, and I think we're, in a sense, addicted to,
Yeah. So, so I'll try to stay off of it and then I'll get on it just one last time. And the one last time maybe, I got TV. Yeah, okay. So we'll look at the screen and sometimes we'll go on it that one last time like I do. And that one last time could be for like 5 seconds or like another hour. Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
I get lost in emails or a YouTube video or I'll dive into it. And then I'm like, oh, I need to go to sleep now. So the interesting thing about those screens, whether it's a television, a computer, or our phone, is that the light that it emits tells our brain, wake up! It's really important that you're awake right now. Stay awake. And those images, I want to be dramatic with the wording, but it's actually scientifically a thing, but I'm going to use like dramatic. I'm going to use dramatic wording. But it like burns the images into our brain. Okay, so then when we go to sleep, our mind is still processing all that it just saw. Whether it was images, words, it doesn't matter. But that light imprints in our brain, so it's almost like it's still processing all of that. So it makes it more challenging to go to sleep and to stay asleep restfully.
Yeah.
So oftentimes we don't sleep as restfully as we could. And a lot of times we can shift that if we stay off the screen a little bit longer.
Well, like for me, the reason I do it is
Do you think
specifically
there's a
because,
connection?
Definitely, yeah.
so for me, the reason I do that though is because I'm already restless. I can't just lie still.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tried Vipassana meditation last night for like 20 minutes. I tried self-inquiry, anything to kind of just stable my mind and ground it. And there were brief moments when I was okay, but even though I was okay, you know, mentally grounded, my body was still in pain. So I'm like, now what do I do about this? So I was grabbing from all sorts of bales of hay, trying to figure out what to use to make this work.
Yeah.
And I tried Taoism. I downloaded a book. It was $18.99, and a lot of it I don't think is literal anyway. But I'm just trying to get a hold of what can I do to just ground me and feel at peace in my body and my surroundings and with my life in general. You know.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So what I'll do is when I'm having a hard time sleeping or if I wake up and I'm like, "Gah," there's a part of me that wants to get on the phone, right? Because eventually I'll get bored on the phone and then I'll fall asleep. But what happens is that my brain doesn't actually go into the restful states of sleep. So what I've been doing, and it works for me, so I'm curious if anyone else has anything that's not a screen, but I'll go outside.
Okay.
I go outside and I look at the sky,
For a certain period of time, or?
just however long. And sometimes it's, just for a few breaths, depending on how cold it is. Sometimes it's for a while. But I'll just go outside and I just look at the sky. Or sometimes I go out there and I notice that there's some weird sounds of animals that I wasn't expecting or whatever, but it brings me back into my body.
Okay.
And going out there in that temperature, for me lately, because it's been colder, I get cold. And then when I get back into bed, it's more comforting because it's more snuggly.
What is it that brings you into your body like that? Is that the placement of your feet on the earth, or
Yeah, I think it
the
just,
smell of the air too, I guess, or the feel of the wind, or
yeah, I feel like just being with nature brings us back into our body.
yeah.
Like no matter what, if we're having an anxiety attack, if we're experiencing depression, if we're experiencing anger and frustration and rage or confusion or doubt or whatever these really big energies are, if we actually just take ourselves outside and just sit down or go for a walk and just breathe, like that will shift our nervous system. But when we go on a screen or turn on the TV, it can actually activate our nervous system a lot, because our brain is like, okay, we're awake now. The brain doesn't know any different. It's whatever we give our brain tells our body kind of how to react, if that makes sense.
It's funny you say that because one of the things about, like I told you about you guys about the dreams that I have that are kind of.
We match. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you do? That's my favorite color. Knew there was something I liked about you. And I take some medication for it now, which helps me get less anxious about the dreams. But the thought has occurred to me that in our dream, we dream about our life. So if we don't have, and this might be something you've thought about too, when we dream about what's going on in our life. So if you don't have a really active, interesting life for yourself, or you have trauma that you're dealing with in your life, that may be what you tend to dream about, and therefore your dreams may be really vivid and upsetting and make it difficult to sleep. So maybe part of my issue is I need to get better things going on in my life so I have better things to dream about. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So dreams are interesting. Good morning. Joshua is in the house, has shared. So interesting thing about dreams. So when we're dreaming, we are processing all the things in our subconscious. So our subconscious holds past experiences and the unconscious. The unconscious is, say you're watching a movie and then they blip Coca-Cola and you don't see it, right? Like your mind, you don't think you see it, but it made an imprint. So it goes into this unconscious space. So next thing you know, you're like, I want to buy a Coca-Cola, right? So we have this unconscious aspect of ourselves and we have the subconscious aspect of ourselves. The subconscious is where we have all this stored trauma and all these old emotions and all the stuff that we just haven't processed.
Is that the thoughts in our head that just happen on the road and stuff what the subconscious is? Like,
Yeah.
very aware of?
Yeah, it's almost like the background noise
Okay.
of our thoughts. The conscious mind is the one that's like, I call it almost like our higher self. It's the one that says, no, you know what? Everything's actually okay right now. Like, because we're safe, or we're actually not safe right now, so we need to leave, right? The conscious mind is the higher mind. It's the one that's like, I have all this experience and I know what to do now. So when we're sleeping, we are processing the unconscious and the subconscious. That's why when we're going through any recovery of our life, right? It's really, to me, it's so important to do this deep healing work, which isn't necessarily the easiest stuff, but that's what gets us to be able to have a more restful sleep, because then when we're sleeping, we're just having fun in dreamland.
Yeah, because
We're
it
just
deals with
testing
your
the-
subconscious. Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've
Yeah.
come to that conclusion myself.
It can also make you rest more deeply, like in deep sleep. I've heard, in yoga, they talk about deep sleep where no thoughts are churning up, no wild ocean kind of waves, just peace. And there's this thing they talk about in Islam. I'm not Muslim, but it's called Al-Araf, and it's like a great void. And to me, I think of it as like Freud talking about the oceanic womb. Sometimes you just want to feel complete rest, and you feel like you never get it. And if you do, and the only time you have it is when you're in deep sleep, you probably don't remember it anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and okay, so I'm curious because rest is something that we all need, right? And so I think oftentimes when we go to sleep, that's our rest. So that means that we're going for, how long do you all sleep at night? 8 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours?
Usually 8 hours for me.
8 hours. Sometimes I sleep a little bit more, actually.
Okay, so 8, a little bit more. Kim, how long do you sleep at night?
I'd say about 8.
About
7,
8?
About 7, 8.
7, 8. So we got about, so typically like a human is going to sleep and be rested between 5 and 10 hours. It depends on the human. Some people only need 5 hours, not me. Some people need 10, not me. I like a good 8 hours, sometimes 9. And that's really interesting for me because I used to be more of like the 6 to 7 and I'd be golden. But anyway, so if we're sleeping, say 8 hours a day, but we have 24 hours in the day, that means that we're going the rest of the time. That's not balanced. Right?
But you also don't want to probably be too still, because with my joints, I have to move around and probably get my blood circulating or like my oxygen flowing.
Yeah. So to me, I think it's really important for us to be able to find this balance between resting and going and not necessarily making rest sleep only. So it's like, say I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna hardcore work out for an hour. Okay, so that's an hour. And I'm gonna work. Like I'm gonna do my jobby job. And I'm gonna do that for 5 hours because I think an 8-hour workday is a little stupid. So I'll say 5 hours, right? So we'll say 5 hours of like work. Got an hour workout, 5 hours of jobby job. I'm gonna want to like do something that lets my mind expand. So I'm gonna read a book, right? I'm gonna read a book, play a game, just think.
What do you mean by the mind expanding? You mean going out of what's just in your immediate surroundings? or-
Well, no, like reading, learning something,
Okay,
gaining knowledge,
okay, okay.
right?
Okay.
So I'm going to gain knowledge for an hour. I'm going to create for an hour. So I'm going to draw, doodle, color, sew, dance, write poetry for an hour. We're at 8 hours already.
Okay.
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 So all of this I've been going this whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna put another hour in there for travel time. Okay. At some point we need to just rest. Okay.
If we can.
Right.
Yeah.
And that rest can look like meditating. It could be looking like sitting on your sofa and looking out the window. Right? Literally having just a regular old conversation with somebody. You know, not trying to fix a problem, not trying to share a problem, but just like, you know, just what's going on? How's your Thanksgiving? What are you going to make today? I don't know. Just, you know, conversing.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of naps during the day?
Yeah, naps are great.
I love a good nap.
You know, yeah, like I laid down yesterday for a nap and I didn't fall asleep, but what I did do was I laid there with my eyes closed and I breathed for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it relaxes you.
Yeah,
Did
it's a
you,
reset.
Focus on your sensations, or you just?
I just laid there and relaxed for
Yeah,
10
that's
minutes
right.
and breathed.
Okay.
That's all I did.
It worked for you better than it worked for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's allowing ourselves to do that, allowing ourselves to have rest in the day and move, create, play, work, produce during the day. And then at night, it's this whole other regeneration of our bodies.
See, I think part of my problem is, and you could look at it as one thing or two things, but I just kind of want one rule that I can live by that'll make everything else work. Because when I complicate things, like for me, now this is me shooting myself in the foot, but I might go home and try to schedule all these different things based on different days I had in the week and what I've already got scheduled for each of those days. And I would feel overwhelmed and look for, what do I do? Like, what's the answer, right? Like still my mind, you know, that my mind always wants this, that one thing, you know. It's a lot harder to sit down and think about what needs done and how to work around that, all that strategizing, and that's just me. It is a cop out, but that's me.
Well, yeah, who else would love a magic pill?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
the one and done, everything, that's a bippity boppity boo, bling,
Yeah,
everything's fine.
Yeah.
And there's always one answer, but the question's not always the same.
Okay.
Right? So
or
there's
at
never
different times,
one.
The answer is different, right?
Right. So there's always one answer.
Just gotta find it. for
Right.
That time, right?
Yeah. And so it's like sometimes the answer is move my body. I need to alchemize this energy. I've been sitting too long.
Did you say
Sometimes the
alkaline?
answer alchemize, shift, clear,
Alchemize.
move energy. So sometimes I need to move my body. That's the answer for pain in my body. Sometimes the answer for pain in my body is sitting down and resting. Pain in my body, it's the same thing, but what I need in that now is different.
Yeah, sometimes for me, I know you said there's one solution. Sometimes for me, my problem is I see a multitude of solutions and it's difficult to choose. Not always, but sometimes. The further I get in my recovery, the better I get at doing that. But that's kind of how my mind works when I think about something. I think about, oh, I could do it this way, or I could do it that way, or I could do it that way.
Yeah.
And I think, the thing
Yeah.
you mentioned about the magic pill, I think that's very true, especially of people that don't have mental illness, but know people that have, they think we all just like go to the doctor and say, can I have the mental illness pill?
Yeah.
And they give you the mental illness pill and you're cured. Yeah,
Mm.
nah, that's not how that works.
It's definitely not how it works.
In my experience too, maybe it could also happen, because I've had this happen with different things. Like maybe if I wrote down the times I could do things, like try to balance my scheduling, work or moving around with stillness or calm or peace, then I might think, well, that's the one thing. And if you get overly dependent on any one thing, everything else starts to crumble. So you got to know, which is why I'm here, I guess, is I need to be learning more and hopefully retaining more information on actual skill sets to help me with this.
Yeah. It just made me think
You're
about.
like, duh, that's why you're here. Of course it's
Right.
here.
So we're all here. It makes me think about like when I was in school and they would give us tests and they would be multiple choice tests. And I always knew that there was the one right answer, but I could see how 2 more of those answers could work.
Okay.
Oh, but that's not the best
me.
answer,
That's me,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I would always bomb on the test. I failed tests tremendously. Like I could teach the class and I could write essays on it, but I couldn't take a multiple choice test because I knew that A was probably the one that they wanted, but I saw that B could work. C could definitely work if you look at it from this perspective, and I know D isn't going to work, right? And so then it would be, what is the best answer for me right now? Nobody's going to judge it. That's the thing. With the test that we took, somebody was going to be judging it, right? The teacher with the red pen. We have the ability to make whatever choice. We have a billion different options, but there's still only one choice that we can make, right? I'm gonna either choose
That's
to get
our
out of
decision,
bed.
yeah.
I'm gonna either choose to get out of bed or not.
Yeah, it's an alternative, one thing.
You know,
I get you.
And I could give all the reasons why staying in bed would be better or getting out of bed would be better.
Is this like everything is binary or something like?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah or no, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically it's like, and the fun thing about these life choices that we make is that whatever choice we make, none of them are permanent. I mean, unless it's like a tattoo, but even those can get removed, you
It can
know,
be removed well.
like,
point.
right.
Good one.
You know, so I mean, like, and no matter what, we can still make another choice. It's like, okay, so I'm not sleeping right now. I really want to be sleeping. Okay, well, let me go outside. Okay, I make that choice. I
Okay.
go out there without shoes on. Well, that wasn't smart. My feet are cold. I'm going to go back in. I can either put shoes on and go back out or stay inside. That's another choice. So I go back outside.
See, this
I
is
can
like,
stand
with
So
that
it does-
rapidity, that's my life.
Yeah.
I'm spinning around like a squirrel in a cage trying to get free and I'm already at home.
Yeah.
You know, this sounds like a parable from the Himalayas, like, you know, you find the gold in your own chimney or, you know, you don't know that you've got it all along, but it's like, I know that I'm at home, I'm safe, you know, everything's objectively, externally right, as far as I can tell. But in my mind, I start panting, you know, and it's like, I do get up, I pop my ankles, I pop my knees, I pop my hip, I take salt baths, you know, I've tried everything.
Do you talk to yourself?
I do.
And do you
Normally, so.
tell yourself things like, because this helps me and this has helped other people.
Okay,
If we talk to ourselves like we are a parent,
okay.
right? So sometimes when we were kids and we were sick, maybe we didn't have a parent there to actually parent us. Maybe they were just like, here's some Tylenol.
Mhm.
Bye. You know, or go to school. The nurse will take care of you there. You know, or maybe when we were kids and we were sick, you know, all of a sudden the parent is like shoving all the medicine down your throat. Take this, take this, take this, and wouldn't even hold you.
Yeah.
Right. Or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Right. Because no matter what, our parents did the best they could. And they could have always done something else because there's a million different options. Right. They did A, but they could have also done B and C. They did the best for that answer. Right.
Yeah.
So the invitation is when we need to, we talk to ourselves as a parent would if we could be the most loving parent in that now moment for us in that now moment. So talking to ourselves and saying the things like, wow, body, I feel you right now and it is not comfortable.
Okay.
Wow. And I still love you and I'm really grateful that I get to have you right now. Right?
Okay.
What do you need, body?
Soothe it, right?
Yeah.
That's the answer.
We'd be nice to ourselves. What do you need, body? And the body's going to answer you because it's going to come as this idea of like, take a bath, go for a walk, drink some water, like whatever that is.
Is that, I heard Jordan Peterson talk one time about, he thinks that's how prayer works. Like you say, hey, how are you? You say like, you know, what can I do to get out of this problem? And maybe it's your unconscious, maybe it's God. You don't see where it comes from anyway, but an answer comes when you ask that question.
Mhm.
And so it can work like prayer at least. I thought that was interesting. It
Yeah.
sounds very similar to what you're saying, because you're taking the parent role, and then as you might have asked your parent in the past when they didn't help you, whether they did or not, you're kind of you're using all the brain to just get one answer to one particular thing, which sounds pretty efficient. And
Yeah.
when you talk about that processing, right, that has to be processed on the unconscious too.
Mhm.
So in the subconscious, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that self-healing deal you were telling me about, that you can heal yourself. So it'll come, answer will come. I mean, subconsciously unconscious, answer will come. It ain't that you're paying attention, it's you done been around.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see situations as they unfold and they refold, fold again, and stuff like that. And then your mind prepares some kind of plan that gives you that subconsciously, even if it was just that blip on TV, go color, But it comes to a dream maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But the mind still process the problem.
Mm-hmm. Thank you
Yeah.
for speaking to that.
I think that's a lot more quiet of an answer that I would like more than my blah blah, come in my head. Because the answer is in seeking, it's just like, how I think a lot of meditators have this problem that we're always trying to quiet our mind. So we're always thinking about how to quiet my mind. So we read 10 books about how to quiet our mind, which doesn't quiet our mind, and we just, it's like there's no way to get out of that. And it's like if I wasted my entire meditation life trying to figure out how to do this,
Yeah, because seeking is an action.
Yeah,
Being is not.
okay,
Sometimes we can just be with ourselves,
okay.
and that's a form of rest.
That's what I really want to be able to do. There's this U2 song called Running to Stand Still. And even when my body is still, usually I feel inside like I'm running like a hamster on a wheel. And probably my lack of sleep is helping me. Because when I'm tired, I'm not as anxious because I'm depleted of that energy that I could probably use to be anxious.
I'm curious about this. This keeps coming up into my reality a lot. So I'm curious. Who out here feels like you're running on a hamster wheel?
Not right now.
Sometimes, not right now. But
Yeah.
Usually,
like- Same
What was
thing.
that question?
Who feels like you're running on a hamster wheel?
it is
Same
just
thing.
mentally.
Now?
Just in your life in general right now. Yeah.
No,
I was just curious. A lot of people have been reflecting that to me, that they feel like they're just on this wheel.
See, I get,
You
I have
know?
bipolar, so I get that. Sometimes it goes from the depression to the, and where like I have, like I'll get projects and stuff, and then it's like, and then I get in this slump where I don't want to do anything,
Mm.
which is, you can be restful and, like, what were you saying? Being restful, being passive, what's what you were saying? You were saying something. Anyway.
Oh, like balancing, being at rest and being.
Well, just how it's, one is an action and one isn't. You were saying something about that, and then anyway.
Yeah. Well, one is, yeah.
But
One is sleeping and one is just resting.
yeah, well, yeah, and it's, but when you're, what I was gonna say is when you're being unactive and you're resting, the resting is good, but the whole rest of the world keeps going. Like your laundry keeps piling up, and you're
The funny thing about the laundry doesn't pile up while we're resting.
true.
Right?
well,
nobody's
okay.
going in there and dirtying more dishes while I'm resting.
Well, that is true. That is
But
true.
what I'll do is I tell myself that it's getting worse if I rest. And that's a mental hamster wheel that prevents me from resting, and it prevents me from doing the chore.
Okay.
Well, that is true. That is true. It is not actually literally piling up while you're
Right?
asleep.
But think about this. But if my brain says that the dishes are piling up, then my body's not going to rest
Yeah.
because I'm activating my nervous system. I'm starting to feel more anxiety. So I'm not resting in the first place, but I'm trying to rest, so I'm not getting the dishes done.
Yeah.
Funny how the mind works.
It's like you tired of the discovery.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this hamster wheel, right? Sometimes on the hamster wheel, this repeat, right? This I'm always looking for something. I want a magic pill.
Or
I've
just
been
to
asking for
stop-
this magic
stop-
pill.
to stop looking for something, it just rest.
Yeah. It's kind of like, what happens if, like, do we even know what it would be like to get off the hamster wheel?
I've had experiences of it, yeah.
I'm not always on it, so I do know what it's like
Yeah.
to get on it, but I always have like a backlog.
So how do you get off of it? I know how to get on the hamster wheel. How do you get off of the hamster wheel?
Well, sometimes for me, taking a break away from my environment, like for me, I live in a very disorganized kind of place in my environment. I can never seem to decide where something's going to be for a long period. And things are constantly like, oh, I can do that, or I can change it here. But getting out of that environment into a clearer space, or a space that I'm not involved in, helps me to refocus my energy, so to speak.
That's a big one. How do you get off of the hamster wheel?
I think something that helps is just exhaustion. Like if I can climb a mountain and then just like lay on the top of it and be like spent, that would be nice, because sometimes it seems like that's about all it would take,
Yeah.
just to completely relax every muscle in my body, the tendons, the joints, all that, for that pain to go away.
Yeah.
Um,
So like physical exhaustion.
Yeah, maybe exercise.
I thought about
Yeah.
joining a gym, but they're pretty expensive in Charlotte. I need to check like a Y and see if they have like. a
Planet
pack or
Fitness.
something.
Planet
Okay.
Fitness is like $10 a month.
Okay.
Yep. They all
Is
are.
that consistent? Has
Yep.
it been that way a long time?
Yep.
Okay.
Planet Fitness. That's like the way to go for any gym.
Okay.
It is accessible.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
look into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Rodney, how do you get off the hamster wheel?
Easy. I don't. No.
How do you get off the
Are you
hamster
on
wheel?
Hamster wheel now? Does it feel like you're on it now, or?
It's just that you gotta accept some things.
Okay.
You gotta have acceptance and everything. And it works for me. It don't work for a lot of people, because I guess what you focus on or put your energy in, it must have value.
Yeah.
If you focus on something that don't value nothing, then yeah, I guess you could want to get off there.
Okay.
But me, I'm always thinking of what value, a little bit more. And
Acceptance, is acceptance where you find that value? Just kind of letting be, maybe? Am I reading that right? Or?
Acceptance is knowing you, because it's only for your own understanding what take care of you. And you gotta have understanding what does that. And if you don't value yourself, and that's the first one, and everything, then you don't accept you.
Okay, I got you. Okay, that's very deep, actually.
Yeah.
I wish I had that on record, because I will forget that when I get back home.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's subliminal.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, it's in there. It's subliminal. It's in
Your
there.
dad was a preacher, was he not? We were talking the other day, I think. You grew up in a deep household, I believe. Yeah.
No, that was alone a lot.
Okay.
That gives you a lot of time to think. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
How
So
was John's?
I know I was 11 months as a child too.
likewise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see you having
So-
such great fun, though.
Oh yeah, I mean well that was the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
kind of thinking about this hamster wheel, right? So oftentimes we get on it and it's moving us so fast that we can't stop running, right? Because it's moving us. And it's really hard to just jump off because it's going to hurt, right? We can't just jump off of that hamster wheel. The hamster will like literally go flying. And if it doesn't keep moving, then it's going to it'll go around it and that's dizzying. It kind of throws you for a loop if you're that hamster, right? You actually went around the loop upside down and everything got topsy-turvy and bleh style. And so then I'm thinking, okay, like, so how do we get off of it? Well, we can either say, you know what, then I'm going to run even faster and I'm going to let myself topple and get all discombobulated. That'd be the equivalent to walking up the mountain. I'm just going to run as fast as I can
Yeah.
until I can't.
Okay.
And then eventually it'll stop. And then there's that, like, I'm going to just accept that I'm on this hamster wheel. And then it may slow down. I might get off, but I'm going to accept whatever this is.
See, it's almost like we're writing the software of our life in binary as we move forward.
But we are.
But we have to program ourselves. I never listened to this video, but there was one on YouTube. I kept seeing the title of it a while back. It said we have to program ourselves, or we get programmed by others.
Mhm.
But others don't know our situations, kind of like what he was getting at.
Mhm.
So you have to find what works for you moment to moment. See, for me, a lot of times I don't even know what the alternative is that's confronting me at the moment.
Well, yeah. Well, and if we can accept what is in the now moment, then we can see opportunities that are outside of it.
Okay.
So it's through the lens of acceptance that we can see alternatives.
And how do you get to acceptance?
That you choose it. It's a choice.
Okay.
I could say that I could in this right now moment, I could complain and say that I'm a little bit cold.
Okay.
And then I could focus on it. And I could get grumbly about it. And then my body's going to start to be like, yeah, that's right, you're cold. Or I can just accept the temperature. And then I could pull my sleeves down because that option just came into mind. Right. But if I'm grumbling about it or whatever, right. So through acceptance, other opportunities and ideas come in. And with the programming, right? Like we'll get programmed by basically whatever's on the media and whatever's on the screen. People that have an agenda to make money.
Yeah.
So it's really important to program ourselves. So when we can become aware of whatever hamster wheel we're on, it's called life. Like this hamster wheel is just life.
Okay.
You know, so at what point can we just pause?
Maybe take a slow.
Yeah,
slow-
yeah.
Yeah, that's
start,
kinda what I
start
was
just,
saying earlier,
yeah,
the
just
pause.
like you know what? I'm just gonna start taking slower steps now.
Okay.
Because if I'm on a wheel, I want to. Where is the wheel?
It's your life.
Right. And so then it's like, okay, so if I'm on this wheel, so I've had a hamster before, right?
Okay.
And I had a wheel in there. The wheel wasn't in the bedroom. The wheel was in a cage.
Okay.
So the hamster had all this other space to play in.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes it just takes a change of scenery, right?
Yeah.
Get off the wheel and just be like, I have more. I don't have to be on that wheel, right? I don't even have to be on it because I'm in a whole other cage.
Okay.
I'm in the whole house. I'm in the whole neighborhood. I'm in this whole state.
We're all-
You know, I'm in this whole country. I'm on this whole earth plane. And just be able to explore new areas, whether it's through exploring to the point of exhaustion or just exploring because like I have a day. I'm going to drive down some new roads and go down a new space. I'm going to meet a new community. I'm going to talk to new people. Like that's exploring new areas. What's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm Dandy, and yourself.
Okay.
Welcome.
See-
Welcome to Now.
Thank you. Check.
For me,
Are you just passing out money?
Yeah.
I think you missed a
Give me
couple
your-
of
give me your
people.
money.
Just mail.
Oh,
See, for me, if I don't,
want to interrupt you.
enjoy your day.
All right. You
I'll
too.
see you in a minute.
So for me, that acceptance is important, and sometimes like the diversion work or free spot where I can clear my head and think. Otherwise, because if I try to do true exhaustion, what I end up doing is it just doesn't work with my bipolar, because I just I overdo the wrong thing and mess something else up. So and if I stay in the environment and it's not really working for me at the moment, then there's to put my head in the sand. You know what happens if you put your head in the sand too long?
Mhm.
You suffocate and die.
Yeah, yeah, because we're here to participate in this life thing.
Yeah.
You know,
So that's
I just had this vision, and it was really cute, and I want to share it. So back to the hamster wheel. So sometimes we just have to get off the hamster wheel, and then we can kind of see what we have, right? And then what if during that time that we got off the wheel, we took a break? That's the rest.
Mhm.
It's not the sleeping, it's the resting. Then you can start to see what other pieces, and you could create a new wheel, right? So now I'm going to make a wheel that's not so tight. I'm going to make a bigger wheel so that I feel like I'm walking flat before it starts to loop around. So now it just feels like a big treadmill and not a little circle. You know, so it's when we take these rests.
Or paint trees on it, so you see the
Right,
landscape.
exactly.
as you walk
Yeah,
down
paint
street.
the
Yeah.
cage so you don't mind being on it. You know,
Yeah.
take your measurements so you can lose weight while you're on the wheel. Whatever,
it breaks it
right?
up.
Well, it's just a little hamster with a little.
Very creative brain you have.
I do really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
So
You
so.
paint?
Mhm.
I'd like to see your art.
Yeah, I do a lot of. I haven't in a while. That's part of what I'm being called to do. Is in this rest. You know, part of rest to me is not doing for others, right? And so we're and which is an interesting thing because everything is duality, right? So like it's so funny because it's like rest is when you're just doing for yourself. You're just resting for you. But when we rest for ourselves, what are we better to do? Show up for others.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I'm exhausted, if I'm
ourselves.
tired, if I'm worn out mentally or physically, I can't show up fully.
Yeah.
I can't. So it's like, okay, let me rest so I can show up fully. And then that's a new wheel to be on.
See, I can look like I'm in rest, but generally I'm not anyway. So like when I would go to work and like I tried increasing my hours, the last job I had to like 40 hours because I felt it would help with the leg pain.
Did you say decrease it to 40 hours?
No, I increased it.
Oh,
So
I was
doing
like,
half time. No, it wasn't. No, I'm
Okay,
not one
that
of
makes
those,
more
like,
sense.
Those
Okay.
are young dudes, like
Yeah.
20 something doing that. And I never did that. I was on disability most of the time anyway. But now I forgot what I want to say. But yeah, I don't know. Can you
Sorry.
What were you talking about
You're-
before I said that?
resting and being able to, when we take that time for rest, then we can show up more for others.
Okay. I don't know, just let it go.
It'll come back.
Yeah,
Sorry I
that's all right.
interrupted.
It's okay.
I was just
No,
like,
I don't know.
what? How much were you working if you decreased it
You could have
to
a show.
40?
You could have a show.
Like, what? That would be fun.
So for me, that break, that rest you're talking about, helps me separate, because what I do is I take the laundry and the dishes and the clutter in the living room and the paperwork I haven't dealt with or the mail I have, and I take everything and I just put it in, it becomes one giant wall of stuff monster that becomes unmanageable, you can't break through, you can't surpass it. And that's where the head of the sand comes from. So for me, it's very important to break it up, and sometimes difficult to break it up and just to decide which thing for me to do first. That's the hardest part for me, to decide, should I wash the dishes right now? Should I hook up the TV? Should I do the laundry?
You just, right? And many humans will get very overwhelmed with a decision to the point where
Very much me.
it becomes hard to make a decision. And so then we don't make a decision,
That's
right? And so it's a trauma response. It's a fear of messing up. It's a fear of not making the right decision. It literally is a trauma response out of fear to not make a decision. So then it's like, so what if I have all these decisions and I get to that moment where I'm like, I don't know which one to do, and I can do it all, but I don't know what, right? So I get in that space. What if I talk to myself like I am the parent? I take a deep breath and I say, it's okay. Let's just pick one for fun. Let's pick the one that looks like red. Let's pick it by a rainbow color. Let's pick it by a number. Pick the third option. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do that, right? So then it becomes a game and not a trauma response where we become paralyzed.
So what's the modality you're using your mind in then? Are you focusing on what you're doing and then seeing the results, or how do you, because that's my thing. I always want to figure out, how do you do it? How do you do whatever
You
it is?
just do that.
Okay.
How do you
So-
see them as, like, the tasks as colors, though? I don't know.
Inspiring, motivation.
Yeah. So okay. So
No, I get
okay.
why.
So say okay. So
I know,
say
I get why, but I mean, how are you?
how do you do it? Okay.
How are you
Inspiring,
So-
motivation.
so we
Very
have-
good at it.
Okay,
No,
so-
no, that's not what I'm asking.
yeah, I know what you're asking. Okay.
Yeah.
So say you have dishes, you have 3 loads of laundry, and pick one more thing.
I need a TV I have to hook up.
Hook up TV. Okay. TV's black. Dishes, I'll say blue for water, and then you have
So you just assign a color
Yeah,
to that you
yeah,
think is
gray,
appropriate.
white, colorful.
I got it. I was
Yeah,
just trying
just
to
like-
do that in my head, and I was
right.
like, but
Yeah.
they're not a color. They're
Right.
not a color.
You just so that's where creative energy comes in, right? It really is just, it's a game of make believe. We're creating it all. We could just give everything numbers. Well, TV is number 1 because it's been there the longest. 2 is the dishes because I need them. 3, 3, 4, 5 are the 3 loads of laundry. And we just pick one. We could throw a die. Heads, I want to do laundry. Tails is the TV. And make it a game so that it takes the burden of choice off of us, so that we make the choice, and we're still making the choice. It's just we just made it in a fun way.
I'm with it.
So it's empowering. Yeah. So it's empowering and it's releasing at the same
Played life
time.
like it's a video game.
Yeah.
I've tried that before.
Yeah, because we're living in a hologram.
So is this like, would you say that's a Zen? Is that kind of what you're getting at, is the Zen thing where you focus on what you're doing, and if you have a problem, you do it better, or pay
No.
close attention?
No, it's
No.
more of the Tantra approach.
Oh,
So
So-
there's like, so if you look at that lineage, there's Buddha, Zen, Tao, and Tantra. So Buddha is the being of the
Mhm.
love.
okay.
The Tao is the Zen. The Zen is just accepting it all, right? Okay, it just is,
No
It's Zen,
attachments.
right? The Tao is it's almost like this like servitude, this like compassionate, this like I see you and me and I see it all and I'm going to act in service. And Tantra is the embodiment of the creation and just like fuck it, it's just life. Can I make it fun?
Okay,
Because it's going to hurt. Can I enjoy the hurt just as much as I enjoy the
okay,
pleasure of it all?
okay.
Can I laugh during the grief that I'm experiencing because somebody just died? I'm not laughing because they died, but I get to experience this depth of pain.
Okay,
That is Tantra.
okay,
It's living in the now moment with life force energy always working with us.
okay.
So,
That's part I didn't get.
yeah.
Well,
and Tantra teachings here aren't like that. They don't teach it from the higher esoteric spiritual realm. That's what I've studied and what I've downloaded
Okay.
in my teachings.
Okay.
But a lot of the teachings here in the Western culture are around sex as
Yeah.
tantra, and that's not.
No,
That's
exactly. It's a lot bigger
It's a
than
part of
that.
it, but sex is a part of everything. So like,
Even in the Kama Sutra, there were a vast amount of other
Right.
books or materials associated with that.
yeah.
And
So
in
a way
Buddhism,
to,
you have Tantra.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but-
a way to hone this process of making life and decisions just more easeful, and so that it's like, well, if I'm going to be on this hamster wheel, how can I make peace with it? Well, can I take a break? Can I take a rest? But for me, my invitation is to do something creative, do something that's out of the box, out of the ordinary, right? So maybe you can't take a week-long vacation to Thailand. Okay, well, but you can go outside for a walk at midnight to steady your mind, and that's something different and out of the box.
Okay.
If like doing something that's just a little different and out of the box that you chose, painting, drawing, doodling, like literally getting creative energy moving, and it balances both hemispheres of the brain in action. So like we can be still and meditate all day, but we're not balancing the hemispheres of the brain necessarily. We're just trying to turn off the neural pathways that have been of harm.
It's just kind of like what the Buddha was trying to do when he almost killed himself. And he figured if I do this, I'm just going to die without getting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't.
I mean,
that's what
so
you're saying. You
yeah,
just
and it's
gonna
like,
lay down and starve.
Yeah.
Okay.
when it's like, we can be as empty in the mind as we want, but here's the thing, when we die, we'll be that.
Okay.
So why not live it to the fullest and do something different? So what if today, right? Or tomorrow, right? We'll say tomorrow, because we got today to practice and like kind of like anchor it in. What if tomorrow is the new day? And you can be whatever you want. So tomorrow you are healthy, healed, and you are the best, most clear decision maker ever. And your decision is to flip a coin for everything or to roll a piece of die for everything, right? But like that you are going to start creating the hamster wheel. Like, what if?
Is this like in Tibetan Buddhism where they talk about in Tantra, you adopt the ego, say of a meditation deity or whatever, and you become that? It's like, and so you see the illusoriness of all egos, that they're constructs. Is that what you get? Because it sounds similar anyway.
That isn't my point,
Okay.
and that is a truth.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're embodying what you think will help with you in that moment, and it's able to change. So you're using your ego, but also the service of spirit.
Well, yeah, the ego is to serve the spirit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's to keep us safe here as a human.
Okay. So what does spirit mean to you in that context? I'm curious.
Just the source of energy that we came. It's the divine love that is.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's the background behind the binary that holds the code onto the.
See, there you went over me. So okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the glue that holds it all together.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just the source. So that's an invitation, right? So the invitation is to maybe say, okay, so tomorrow I'm going to be someone who listens to me, who asks me questions of what I need. Tomorrow I'm going to be the person that allows myself to rest and play. Tomorrow I'm going to start being the person who gives back to myself and others. Tomorrow I'm going to start this. So today I'm just going to get ready for it. So today I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to wash this one load of laundry, and I'm going to take the walk around the block, because tomorrow I think it's supposed to be rainy. So then
This
perfect
just
day.
sounds exhausting.
Right?
It isn't, but it seems it.
Right.
You know?
To be a human and to truly just take care of ourselves sounds very exhausting, because that hasn't been supported in our culture.
Okay.
Our culture only supports producing for the man,
Okay.
making money for someone else. So doing anything outside of that construct feels a little bit much.
Yeah, because that's how you're programmed. Yeah,
Right.
I agree. Yeah.
So an invitation is to create a new program, to create a new wheel, to create a new cage, to create a new life, whatever that is.
Okay.
And and
Whatever
I
that
know
is.
from the past when I've done it, it's helped, but it's like hard to get into that routine, especially when your mood changes and stuff. You just get so out of that. Like sometimes I can skip like taking a shower for a few days and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
It's just like, but once you get in the habit of doing it, it seems so easy,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's also kind of like sometimes I don't want to take a shower every day.
Yeah, true.
I don't.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge me. I'm not going to call me names. If I go out there and I go run 15 miles, which I'm not going to do, but if I did that for 4 days and I don't take a shower, well, then that's me not loving myself, right? That's a form of neglect. I'm
Yeah.
not cleansing myself when I need it. It's like I'm not going to take dishes out of the cabinet to wash them. No, I'm going to wash them after they've been dirtied. Same thing with like, that's the thing about like this healing process. So it's also like this letting go of going back to try to fix everything when sometimes fixing it is just being in a new place now and creating now. You know, like what if we don't have to keep going back to fix all this stuff?
Yeah, see, that's my problem. I'm
See.
always trying to do that. And,
Yeah.
you're right.
It's
You can't really
infinite.
go back and fix everything.
No.
You just need to move forward. Yeah.
And what if moving forward does the fixing for us? What if it's like a zipper, right? Where it's literally you just be where that zipper is and you just keep pulling up and that's going to keep closing the gap. Or we can go back to that first tooth on the zipper and try to clean it up, but now we got to undo it and go back up and undo it and go back up. But can't we just be that zipper handle in this now and trust that everything that we've done has led us up to here? And from now, I'm going to start aligning my life with the teeth the way I want it.
See, when I have
However
this,
that is.
Makes
Right?
sense.
this is how my mind's kind of thinking of it. Well, what was something you said earlier? I didn't follow a lot of that at the end there, to be frank. But
The zipper?
something you were saying, yeah, the zipper I did not yet, especially the last bit. But there's a ring I found and got it broke, but it had a horse and it had like a fence, and it was kind of like steeplechasing, but it was jumping the fence. And when I saw it, I realized we're all doing time in some kind of limited situation, right? I mean, we're not everywhere at infinite, doing everything and knowing we're doing everything. And, we're not, consciously doing that. Whatever. I mean, I know the universe, I don't know. Like what I'm saying is we're all as individuals, as long as we identify as an individual, we all have our own individual differences and we need that in order to live. Because if we just, I would just say on Facebook, I wish my friends, I was like, we're all doing time. I hope you find your prison congenial. But the good thing about life is, at least when you're outside of an actual prison, you can choose where else to go. But it sounds like a lot of choices. And I think I would need like paperwork, like a notebook, kind of like something to implement a plan with that kind of thing. Because if I didn't have it written down, and I don't know that I even remember what things I could do for different problems,
Well, maybe that's maybe that's that one answer for you is to write it down.
For now, it's like a wellness toolbox. kit.
Yeah, that you're writing down that works for you today.
Okay.
And then maybe every day you write what worked for you that day
Okay.
or what's working for you that day. And by the end of the month, you can look back and be like, every day was different. Or wow, these 4 things were the same. Yeah.
Okay.
And just a few words, what is the assignment that we're taking with us from today? If you would just, repeat it for me.
The invitation is to decide something for you starting tomorrow. For
What
example,
I'm going to do,
maybe, and how you're going to be. So for example, what if you decide tomorrow that your body is healing miraculously? Okay. You don't have to do anything about it, but it's just a decision that you just made with your body. Tomorrow, I'm going to start healing miraculously.
it's kind of like stepping back and determining finding some progress, something positive, like stepping back and looking objectively. And it's like 6 months ago I was blah blah blah, and now I can do that.
Yeah. It's kind of creating a new pattern in our life through our choice.
Wow.
It's a good feeling for that moment.
Yeah, and for that one
That's all
moment, it
that
feels
matters.
good. Exactly.
Better is always better, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
Exactly. So that's the invitation, is for all of us to
That right
decide
now.
something for us to be for ourselves tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow I'm going to declare that I'm going to be the person who starts painting again.
Okay.
I'm gonna start painting again.
Oil paint?
No, acrylic.
Okay.
You know, or I'm gonna do something creative every day again.
Do you know how to mix colors?
I mean,
Can you show me how to, or
I-
resource?
I just play. I just literally, I'm not trained. But I'm very creative
The way you
because,
said it, it was very childlike. The way you
Yeah,
did the
like-
facials.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is something we're going to do every day.
You can, yeah.
As opposed to intermittently.
hmm It's almost like if someone decides to be a parent, Right. a parent,
Oh.
a mother or a father, they choose that, right? That's a choice. And that's a daily choice that they still get to step into every day, whether they do it or not, right? So it's like if we make a decision to, I'm going to start being the best decision maker ever for me right now. Okay, well, then that means 5 days from now, I may need to remind myself, oh, wait a minute, I'm the best decision maker ever. Now I'm just going to create a new way. I'm not going to flip the coin. I'm going to spin 3 times and point my finger, and whatever I land on is what I do,
Okay.
or whatever,
Whatever
right?
the choices that you're choosing, what means more to you at the moment?
That.
Or
You
whatever.
know, do
the
muscle
target
testing.
is, right?
There's a billion different ways to make
What is
choices.
muscle testing?
I will get into that
Is
next
that
time.
with the probe thing, the electronic?
I'm gonna make my life better today.
I'm going to make my life better today.
For me, it has to be something
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah.
if it makes sense. I can't tell myself like, I'm going to be a genius tomorrow, because, or whatever, you get what I'm
Right.
saying. To me, it has to be, because if it's not something I believe is true, then I just feel like I'm lying to myself.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and to that, so say that, based on standardized testing, everybody thinks I'm stupid,
Yeah.
right? Everybody thinks I'm stupid. So for me to say, tomorrow I'm going to be the smartest person ever. Yeah, I'm not going to believe that shit.
Yeah.
But what I can do is say, I'm going to be the smartest me ever.
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
It's
the
just
best
yeah.
decision maker for me
And then
ever.
you're not competing with others, that becomes.
It's just for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to heal me for me today. I'm going to let myself rest today. I'm going to be the best rester for me today. I'm going to be the best creator for me today. Kind of just trying that out, because oftentimes we work on all the shit that we don't like. What if we just start to amplify the stuff that we want to be better at, or the stuff that we're already good at? We just know that we can amplify that. Like, we're good at resting, but we can be better at it,
Yeah. But
right? We can be better at resting all the time.
Oh yeah, you can never take too many naps. I got a whole book on it if you want to borrow
I
it.
was so lucky to be.
It's not like
I'll take
this
a nap
thick,
instead.
There's
it's a guide to napping. So.
That's funny.
There's a book you might like, and I don't mean to be insinuating anything by saying this. Maybe I should wait, but I won't, because it's not meant that way. You're very smart, so But anyway, you'll see what I'm saying when I connect this here. So when I went to the yoga studios, which I'm barred from until I don't drink alcohol before I go in there, I wasn't drunk, but anyway, I learned I'm not very popular with the yoga studio on 36. So anyway, when I was in there was this cat book, and it had a Zen like cat sitting. It was Zen, cats are very selfish and everything. They're just like pet me, adore me. But the cat was very snobby and kind of like smart and all that. But it's a guide to how to live with the wisdom of the cat. And cats are very wise animals. They're much more than
Cats
dogs.
are crazy.
Dogs are very licky on your face like
Dogs are
crazy.
great.
Cats have a kind of,
Well,
there's
they know
more
how to talk
to
to
them,
you.
I think.
They know how to talk to you.
What, cats or dogs?
Cats.
Do they?
Okay.
Well, in their things,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Okay.
all
My
animals do. I
I
mess with cats.
a cat story about my cat. When Christopher first were friends, when he first started to visit me,
Yeah.
he didn't have any pets, so he would kind of brush my cat off the sofa and stuff. And I was trying to explain to him, you don't understand. You're in the cat's home,
Mm.
so you need to show the cat respect. So
I thought
So he left his coat down, and like the cat peed on it, and then like it's like he was sleeping in my house.
Oh
The
no.
cat peed on the sofa, and she's like, "I'll teach you to brush me off the sofa."
Wow.
But yeah, it's just
I
it's
sang
just
a
funny
song
'cause
one time called "Cats Are Assholes."
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh,
But she will.
So
is that a real song or no?
No, I made it up.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a made up song.
Yeah, she will definitely let you
Well,
know
they,
when she's
yeah,
upset.
they are very, kind of prim and proper, but I always liked cats for that reason, and I've always thought if I had a dog wake me up by licking me on the face, I would just push it off. I'd throw the dog against the wall. It'd scare me, it'd be weird. But,
I mean, I don't want to wake up to anything licking me on the face.
And I took
Period.
her,
Boundary crossed. Don't want to.
Exactly.
I don't
On
give her
that
canned
note,
food that
Enjoy
much.
this Giving Tuesday. Before I'm gonna just hang on one second because I just want to share this online. So today is Giving Tuesday. So if you are called to give, you can give to Promise Resource Network. You can give any day, but you can go to is it promiseresourcenetwork.org?
Yes.
.org and there's a donate option, and so you can give some extra love today special. So you can give to Promise Resource Network, and you can also give to me via Patreon. If you go to Patreon and go to Jane the Guide, you can donate there for me and the Eternal Now Conscious community, and it would be greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. See y'all next week. Bye.